Hello everyone, Darren Cross here. Welcome to Module 5 of MBA 661, and this is the assessment video for Module 5. So this is how we want to complete that writing assessment this week. So we've been building up. In the last module, we went all the way through the goal and objective for our SWOT analysis, and now we're going to get into the first part of the SWOT. We're going to do the internal analysis. So we're going to set this up by talking in general about what the environmental scan is. So the environmental scan is a part of the SWOT, right? It's the first step of the SWOT. Well, after we have our goal, then we want to do the environmental scan. This is where we're actually trying to identify our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. But for this assignment, we're only focused on the internal. And if you remember, the internal is the area where we identify strengths and weaknesses. So like I said before, we're going to do this essay method that we were talking about, right? We're going to do this three-step method. An environmental scan is, for the purpose of this analysis, it will include bang, 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 and following is the environmental scan for ABC Corp. The internal analysis is looking at the things that relate to the company. It includes, for our purposes, we'll do the value chain analysis. And then you actually are going to say the purpose of the value chain is to whatever it is. And then what are the elements of the value chain? And then use a transitional sentence like following is the value chain for ABC Corp. It's going to continue on. If you have remember back to our conversations, there are primary activities and then there are support activities. So you're going to just be defining these. You're not going to go into this right now. All you're going to do is set it up. Primary activities are those activities that, whatever they do, what are they? Primary activities include, there are 5 primary activities, right? Include, list them, and then say, these are the 5, or following is the primary activities for ABC Corp. Then you actually get into the meat that specifically relate to your company. Now here's the thing. When you're going into each of these elements, what you need to do is actually assess what's going on with that company right now. We're not talking about in general what could happen. If they really do this right, this could be the thing. We're saying the state of their inbound logistics right now is this, right? Now, one of the things that I'll talk to you about here, because it's a little quirky if you're dealing with a service organization, the value chain is kind of built on a manufacturing business, right? But sometimes you're dealing with a service business. So when we're talking about inbound logistics, where it normally would be talking about the management of inbound materials and how to get them to your company and inventory management and that kind of thing, we are concerned with a service industry with the intake process for your company. What does it take for you to get the information that you need in order to actually do what you're supposed to do? Think about a doctor's office. Doctor's office has all of these things that have to happen before the doctor actually does what he or she is supposed to do, right? If it's a CPA office, there's a lot of pre-work that has to happen before the CPA actually does what he or she is supposed to do. Okay, so that's what you're trying to assess here. But we're assessing the current state of each one of these things. The current state of each one of these things. What is actually happening right now. Okay? And at the end of it, you want to say something like, this is a strength for this company or this is a weakness for this company. The idea is, once we get down to the rest of the SWOT analysis, we're going to think back on this analysis so that we can determine what our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats are. So then we get down to the support activities. There are 4 support activities. So then what you're going to say is support activities are those activities that, blah, 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 whatever that is. Support activities include infrastructure, human resources, tech development, and procurement. Following are the support activities for ABC Corp. And then you go into the analysis. What's the state of the infrastructure at your company? How do they do human resources management? How do they manage, leverage, and develop technology, and what's their procurement process? We're looking at how they do things here. So be focused on the process, and we're talking about now. This isn't theoretical. It isn't like what they need to do. It isn't, companies can really benefit if they do this. Your deal is every one of these elements is ABC Corporation does this regarding outbound logistics. And Give enough details so that you can explain your point and then get out of there. Don't start to theorize and provide narrative and editorialize about the virtues of doing these things. These are assessments. This whole SWOT analysis is an analysis, so you need to focus hardcore on what it is you're doing. Okay? So go ahead all the way through procurement. You're going to stop at external. We're not going to do that. That's going to be in the next module. And once you stop here, you're good to go. As always, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me. Good luck, everyone.